Hi everyone and welcome back to Cooking with Lilia. In this recipe we're making flautas. It was a request for us from Grilled Wasabi Sushi channel here on YouTube. So I won't disappoint you. I have a healthier, tastier, and crunchy recipe, but this recipe is baked instead of the traditional fried. And stay tuned because at the end I have two sauces you can pair with it that are just fresh and delicious, and it's slightly spicy. So make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss any of these tasty recipes. So I'm bringing my water to a boil and I'm adding sea salt and black pepper. I'm going to season my water before I add the meat. Garlic, 2 bay leaves, and some onion. Once this has come to a boil, you can bring it down to medium heat and then add your beef. Just added my beef to this and it's going to cook for about 45 minutes, just until it's well done and all of this shreds easily. I'm using a rump roast. You can use really any roast, any meat that shreds easily. Now that my meat has cooked, we're going to remove this meat and start shredding it. And we're going to reserve that broth for our sauce. This also is really good to use on any rice or risotto. So our next step is to soften up our tortillas up a bit. We don't want these to break. So I've got my skillet on high just to get it going, and then we're going to quickly just lightly heat them up. And there's no oil on this. So we're going to heat it about a minute on each side, and I've got it on high. And you'll do that to all of your tortillas. Alright, so since I'm baking this, I didn't add broth to this meat because I want it to get crunchy in the oven. So we start out like this, just put a little bit of beef. And you can fill them up with chicken, pork, with any meat that you would like. Just roll them up like this. The beef ones are the most traditional ones. And I'm gonna put them on my baking tray with the seam side down. I'm gonna add a little olive oil to both my baking pan and on the top, just so it assures that they get nice and crispy. If you decide that you want to fry this like they normally are, then I would suggest just adding a little bit of that same broth that the meat cooked in. Just assures that it's nice and moist. You would do then the same process, fill up your tortilla with the beef, and then you would add it to your really hot oil. You want to have it about medium high when you put those in, and it doesn't take very long. You'll start to see the flauta get golden, so you know that they're perfectly done then. So I've got my oven preheated on high, and once that gets warmed up for about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to pop these in at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes, or just until these get really crispy and nice and golden. So depending on your oven, it could be a few more minutes or less. Now for the flauta sauce that I was talking about earlier, I'm going to make it out of tomatillos, jalapenos, and I like to use this poblano pepper. If you don't have that, you can use a bell pepper, but this has a much richer flavor and it gives the sauce a beautiful color. I went ahead and removed the seeds on the poblano pepper because I don't want it to be extra spicy. If this sauce will be a mild spicy, since I'm going to keep the seeds on the jalapenos. If you want a no spicy sauce, then use more bell peppers, less jalapenos, and remove all the seeds. Going to blend all of this up, and just to help my blender, I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. I'm going to rinse these tomatillos and do the same. So I'm blending all of those vegetables with the broth that we reserved earlier. Add some oil to this pan. Now we're going to cook up the sauce. I'm going to add some seasoning to this. It's just some chicken bouillon. You can use some, I believe it's called Better Than bouillon, any kind of chicken flavor really. And we're gonna add a little bit of oregano to this as well. You could season it with additional salt and black pepper. Here I'm crushing some oregano. And we're going to cook this for about 15 minutes on medium heat. It won't ever really get super thick. We want the sauce to get just a little bit darker, and some of the water will evaporate. To give your sauce even more flavor, you can add garlic and onion powder, but actually what I'm going to do is use the same onion that I use for my broth, and same with the garlics. And I'm doing the same with my cilantro now that my sauce is almost done. Blending it with just a little bit of that broth. And I add it last minute because I want my sauce to have some of that green, nice, bright color and flavor. Now we're adding that cilantro in. By this time you could turn off your stove. Just give this a good mix. You don't want your cilantro to overcook. And that is it for this piece. Okay, so for the second salsa, or fresh salsa that I'm making for these flautas, is an all veggie one. So what I'm using is parsley. You can use cilantro. I'm using cucumber, Roma tomatoes, red onion, lime, and avocados. What I first do is dice up my onion. I'm gonna add, once I have this diced up, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and the lime. That way it kind of starts pickling the onion and it doesn't have like a really raw onion taste. So I'm gonna leave the onion soaking in the lime juice and salt just until it starts getting soft. Then I'll add all these vegetables last minute so these don't end up getting mushy. Now that they're halfway cooked, I'm going to rotate them so they get all nice and golden. And there you go, guys. Now that our flautas are finished, you can pair it with our vegetable mixture or the green sauce that I showed you earlier. Chop all of that with some fresh cheese and Mexican cream. And for a healthy alternative, you can use some plain low-fat Greek yogurt. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned for the next one.